Hey guys, it's Kent Davis from Panama Equity Real Estate. I'm the managing director over here, and I've been in Panama since 2007. And man, I have seen my fair share of good and bad attorneys in Panama. So today I'm going to tell you about what to expect and how to vet your Panama real estate attorney. We're going to talk about what they do in the process, whether you're buying or selling property, how to pick out a good one, and by golly, we've worked with a few great ones, so you can always reach out for a recommendation. Happy to send them along. Okay, so let's talk if you're buying property in Panama. What's a real estate attorney going to do for you while you're buying, and what are they not going to do for you? So if you are buying a property in Panama, you definitely want to have a real estate attorney. First and foremost, they are going to review the promise to purchase agreement. They're going to review all due diligence documents. They're going to suggest changes on the agreement or amendments or additions, etc. They are the guys that are going to help you transact, and they're going to cover your tail. Now, the real estate agent works in tandem with the real estate attorney, but there are some things that the real estate attorney will do that the agent does not do. So, first of all, real estate attorneys will take a look at the agreement, because generally the agreement is submitted by the seller. So what are they looking for? They're looking for protections for you as the buyer. What's going to happen to your deposit, which generally gets paid directly to the seller. That's custom. The seller's expecting that, so plan on that happening. The attorney is also going to review the due diligence documents. So those are three key pieces of information which the seller must submit before closing, and which you will deliver to the public registry to confirm that they've been submitted, which are documents called pasi salvos, or good standing certificates. Those are for the water bill, to make sure the taxes have been paid, and to make sure if there's a homeowners association that that's been covered. Those will be mentioned in the promise to purchase agreement. Also, the attorney needs to make sure to do the due diligence in the public registry. We do that for you, but it's basically confirming the details of the property, the size, the age, the location, the improvements, to make sure that they were registered in the case of a house. They are also going to check the selling entity to make sure that if it's a corporation, the corporation is good standing. Whoever is signing on behalf of the seller has the authority to do so. And then the property itself, as far as taxes, what is the tax standing? Are there any liens or encumbrances like a mortgage on the property that need to get lifted? All of that is important before signing the agreement, such that the agreement can be structured properly. So after the deal gets signed is when the buyer's attorney kind of just steps back and says, yeah, I'm waiting for the seller to get me what they need, and they have this amount of days. That's where a good real estate agent is going to come into play, because they are following up with all the parties. They are making sure the documents get submitted, are obtained and correct, because sometimes just getting the documents is a challenge. And sometimes the buyer's attorney is like, well, not my job. It's a seller's attorney to do that. So if you've got a seller's attorney who is either slow or maybe new or otherwise not paying attention to the deal, you need somebody that's going to be proactive to handle that. So what else does the buyer's attorney do? Well, they review the due diligence. They submit the public deed to the notary for both sides to sign in person, fingerprint, sometimes video or picture. Then that gets submitted to the public registry. And then your attorney on the buyer's side is going to register the deed for you, right? Costs of a real estate attorney. It really depends on the transaction, if it's a corporation or the sale of an asset, if it is a multiple shareholder situation, if it's a multiple property situation in the case of buying multifamily or a apartment complex. Generally, an attorney will quote you either based on the size of the transaction or just give you an hourly fee. Typical hourly fees run anywhere from $100 to $300 an hour. The attorneys we work with are in the low to middle stage of that range. Sometimes an attorney will charge you for things like translation. Sometimes they'll third party it and just pass that bill forward. So, okay, that's on the buyer's side. So yeah, the other side of the buyer's side is going to be if they charge you based on the transaction. I don't really like that because, if the property value is say $1 million, but it's not an entirely complicated process, it doesn't mean that they should charge you, say, 5 times as much if it was a $200,000 property, right? So just double check that, talk to your agent. On the seller's side, will be drafting the agreement, the promise to purchase agreement. They will be furnishing the docs. They will be liaising, well, really it's the real estate agent liaising with the bank to get the mortgage certificate, both of the balance and of the canceling of the balance, and making sure that that gets registered in the public registry so that the property can convey. They will be confirming all of the tax information like exonerations, improvements on the property. The attorney on the seller's side will also be responsible for drafting the public deed that the promise to purchase agreement has been converted to, so it becomes a purchase and sale agreement. That's what gets inscribed into the public registry. They will meet the buyer's representative at the public notary, execute the documents. Well, after the good standing certificates are delivered, verified, execute the public documents, follow up with the public registry, although your attorney does, or your agent does that too. Follow up with the public registry, make sure everything comes out properly. They also are going to check the irrevocable letter of payment that the buyer has submitted as an instrument, essentially the escrow letter. You want your seller to check that. And if you don't have a good attorney, you want your attorney to check that. If you don't have a good attorney, they're not going to do it. If you have a good agent, they're going to do it. They're going to confirm it with the bank, and they're going to make sure that there's no issues when you show up or when one of your registered runners, or basically if you authorize a third party to pick up the final balance check on your behalf, you need to make sure that the issuing side of that check, i.e. the buyer's bank, is aware that you're not coming, somebody else is coming. You want to get that resolved early on. Good real estate agent and a good real estate attorney are ahead of all of this. They don't just react when it happens, right? So that's how you choose, or at least that's what you're looking for. How do you choose? Well, how quickly are they responding? How thoroughly are they responding? How many deals do they normally close? Be careful, because sometimes you get attorneys who think they're jack of all trades. You don't get a whole lot of specialization on the educational level. You just graduate generally, unless it's really specific industry. You graduate with a general law degree and there's no bar, which means that you get a lot of attorneys down here. Point being is vet your attorney. Get a quote ahead of time. Ask them a lot of questions. Make sure that they're someone you want representing you, because they do a lot of work and they charge accordingly. It could be expensive, anywhere from $1,000 to even $3,000 to $4,000, depending on the size of the transaction on both sides, buyer and seller. So hopefully that covers it. Always have a good agent, because they're the ones supervising the attorneys. If you like what you see, subscribe, like, share, do all that good stuff. And yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good day.